Couple of clarifying points, and again, this is from their material, this is from their official notification. I thought it was important to kind of pass this on to all of us, just to make sure we're all on the same page. The invitation into this period is not an invitation into the feasibility study, right? It is, we need to meet all the deliverables and meet the requirements of that to be invited to the feasibility study. Moving forward in this process requires collaboration, and not to be redundant, but an invitation to feasibility study will also require a further vote of the MSBA Board of Directors. So it's a very defined process. I also think this is really important, and I wanted to highlight their highlight, which is that communities that get ahead of MSBA without MSBA approval will not be eligible for grant funding. They do not want communities, and I want to be very clear about this, to deviate at all from their process. So they are now our partner. They're our best friends for the next 5 years, 5 to 7 years. And so we just need to be aware of that we don't want to get ahead of them, and we don't want to deviate from that process. We'll spend a lot of time in this period, and I've talked to a lot of my colleagues on enrollment and enrollment projection. Enrollment projections is probably one of the most important items that we're going to be working on over the next 270 days, because what we agree on with the MSBA for our long-range enrollment forecast is going to determine what they'll allow us to build. I do want to talk about one of them in particular, is the school building committee. This town, remember, also has a permanent building committee, but we are now also obligated, and it makes sense, to form a school building committee, a committee that will be laser focused on this particular project from start to finish. They require a specific composition. Now, some people can fill multiple roles. We can also expand beyond this, but these are minimum requirements for the composition of the committee. For example, a school building committee member who's MCPPO certified, that's the Mass Certified Public Purchasing Official Certification. Katie Blake actually started today. She's MCPPO. So for example, Katie could fill that role. We also have a local CEO or an administrator. These are could be one and the same. That would be our town manager, for example. School committee member, minimum of 1. Superintendent, obviously. A local official responsible for building maintenance, i.e. Chris George. Representative of office authorized by law to construct school buildings. I interpret that to be probably a member of our permanent building committee, because that's kind of one of their roles, I believe, by charter, but I'm not sure about that. The school principal, Mr. Havlin, and then just kind of is brought, a member knowledgeable of educational mission and function of facility, right? So just people who understand our educational programs. Local budget official, member of local finance committee, members of the community with architecture, engineering, and construction, right? So, and then beyond, likely a representative from town council. So we have to kind of put our brains together in the next several months to kind of select our school building committee. Again, really important role. It's going to be a lot of work over the next, quite literally, 5 to 7 years. But these are the required kind of slots, if you will, and then we can kind of work around